Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, Mr. Nick Mayhugh. Thank you for coming on today, Nick.
No problem, yo. Thank you for having me.
So for our guests who don't know who you are, or our listeners rather, do you mind giving us a 2 minute overview of your life so far, like where you are right now and what you're doing?
Yeah, so my name is Nick Mayhugh. I'm a Team USA athlete and a Tokyo 2021 now Olympic Paralympic hopeful to run track and field next summer in Tokyo. Born and raised in Northern Virginia, played at the top soccer level my entire life. Played for the DC United Academy for a couple of years. Went on to play 4 years at Radford University. Was able to win a couple of championships there. Unfortunately, I was injured most of my time there, but still produced some stuff on the field there, and that's when I found the national team, the para 7-a-side national team, my junior year, and I've been playing with them for the last 3 years now. And unfortunately, para soccer isn't in Tokyo. We didn't get the bid for it this cycle. So I kind of sat back and I was like, well, what else can I do to kind of live my Olympic dream? And I spoke with my team, those people closest to me, my coach, and they're like, why don't you try to figure out about track and field? And so it always was like an idea. And then actually the head director reached out and kind of recruited me and just asked me if I was interested. And so it kind of worked out. So now I'm full-time training to go run track and field for Team USA next summer in Tokyo.
Yeah, that was something I was looking over your website before this, and I saw that, and I was just wondering, what's the highest level of track that you've ran before? Because it didn't seem like you ran since like middle school or something like that.
Yeah, that's the highest. I mean, I don't even know if that's considered a high. Because I was just running just to stay fit because I was bored. I was just staying fit for
Uh-huh.
soccer. So I was just kind of sort of did it because I had friends that ran, and we were like, hey, you want to do it? There wasn't really that much to do when you're that age. But yeah, I mean, I haven't ran professionally. I remember when the head director with Team USA Track and Field reached out, and she at the time asked me if I had ever ran track professionally, and I was like, no. I would always just ran for fun and kind of trained with track athletes just to kind of fix my running mechanics and do those things, but I had never run professionally. And then so I'm excited. I was actually training full time this past year to compete in my first competition April 1st, and March 30th. I got the call from coach with Team USA, and they were like, "Hey, we had to cancel everything."
Yeah.
So it's brutal.
Yeah,
But I mean,
that
to be honest,
sucks.
it's the best case scenario for me, coming from me being a soccer athlete my entire life, doing all that, to now then switch my focus to learn track and field and be such a naked athlete to that sport. It's very humbling to know that I have so much to learn, and I have such a great respect for the sport and the athletes that have done it their entire life. But now, best case scenario, I have an extra year to get ready, an extra year to get stronger, faster, and just mechanically better. I mean, I'm going to be a completely different athlete when I step off that podium than I am now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, obviously, you're training for like 20, you said that 20, is it 2021 now? 2021, like
So it's
Olympics?
just a calendar year
Oh,
later,
okay.
you know.
All right. So what do you do like every day? I feel like you're like, since you're going to run track, like what's your training schedule like?
So before quarantine and COVID hit, I got back from Peru with the national soccer team in September, I think. Yeah, September of 2019, and I took maybe a month and a half off, and then I started training the beginning of November, and I was training from November until the end of March. I was training 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Um,
Yeah.
in Northern Virginia, and it was just brutal, but it was something you have to commit yourself to. And I just commit all of my time to understand that, like, look, like I have this dream to get to a place that I'd never been before, that no other U.S. athlete has ever been to, and when I get to Tokyo, I'll be the first U.S. athlete, male, female, Olympic, Paralympic, to have represented Team USA in soccer and in track and field, hopefully. So once I do that, it'll kind of just all be worth it, so that's what's kind of driving me. But my daily schedule is just now, that's what it was, and now it's sort of altered a little bit, obviously, with everything going on. I can't go back into the gym that I was training at, and I kind of have to figure some stuff out with myself and my coach. But I wake up, stretch, meditate, do my core and control work. I'm usually done with all that by around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then I'll either head to the track or head to the turf field, get some mechanical stuff in, get some track work done, and then come home, eat, and then get in the gym, my apartment gym that I have right here, and be in the gym for about hour and a half. Nothing too crazy. And then that's about it. Probably I'm on the track probably 4 or 5 times a week, and in the gym about 3, 4 times a week. So, I mean, I'm just trying to be consistent as possible. And then as soon as 2021 hits and we get into that track season, it's going to be just taking it to that next level,
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you're a multi-sport athlete, and soccer and track are kind of similar because it's both involve running. Mm-hmm. But I know for track, there's more emphasis on your form when you're running. So have you had to change your form between track and soccer?
Entirely. I mean, it is crazy to look. So the biggest thing is just angles, like just you want to be as parallel to the ground as possible in the first phase of your run. So the events that I'll be running the 100, the 200, and the 400. Those are the 3 that I'm aiming to compete in Tokyo. And then hopefully the 4x1, if I get selected to do that. But the biggest thing is off the start. I mean, I run like a soccer player, like I'm very side to side. I kind of run ugly as hell, I remember, I'll never forget, after after the Team USA coach got in contact with me, she said, let's send you down to UVA. I'm really good friends with the head track and field coach down there that run the program down at UVA. And I mean, they're a top track and field program in the entire country. So like I go down and introduce myself to the coach, and he walks up, doesn't introduce himself. The first thing he says is, he goes, "This is gonna piss me off." I was like, what? I was like, "Hi, I'm Nick." And he goes, "This is gonna piss me off." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "You're a soccer athlete, right?" He's like, and he introduced himself, and I was like, "All right, cool." And he goes, "You're gonna be ugly. Your running mechanics are gonna be ugly as hell." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're a soccer athlete. This is gonna piss me off." He's like, "It's fine. Just run as fast as you can. We'll figure it out." And I was like, damn. But I mean, it's true though. I mean, there's countless videos of. I remember when I was younger watching a video of Cristiano running against a track athlete, and they slowed it down and watched it, and they put a straight line and how side to side they are. Yeah. Because, I mean, you got to be so agile and so quick to just a stutter step or just a movement in various directions. And track athletes, especially in sprinting, is just it's a linear line. It's just straight, so, or around the bend and straight. You just have to stay in your lane. So it's a lot different. So I've just been focusing on my hands, keeping my fingers open. Just all my entire running form has just become so robotic. And I mean, there's videos of when I'll never forget. I have a video of my first block start, November 15th, 2019. And then I watched a block start from yesterday. And watching my block start from November 15th makes me want to throw up. Like, it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen, Like, it's crazy because, like, watching myself run is so – I already run weird, like, kind of like Raheem Sterling, kind of, like, weird as hell, to begin with.
A little chicken?
Yeah, it's just, like, I don't know. I run kind of – I like frolic, kind of, like – it's just kind of like I'm trying to have fun with it. But, I mean, now that I'm running with track and field, I've been able to see the incremental improvements that I've made, and it's made me faster and helped me become that track athlete,
Yeah. No, I don't think I could ever see myself doing track. Like, I would say I'm pretty fast, a little pacey, but like, what do you call it? Like
I'm too slow.
Chuck. No, this kid.
What?
Chuck is the slowest person you will ever see running. Like, no gas. You can run backwards, and Chuck will be like
on a sprint. On a sprint, I'm better.
Like, he's so slow.
I don't believe that.
I'm telling you,
man. I mean, but see, that's the thing though, is even with me, I remember when my coach, like, when my biggest thing was my neck. When I ran, like, I'd never really noticed it because it was just second nature to me. It's always how I ran. But when you like kind of like stretch your neck out, and my coach like would record it, like, you need to stop doing this. And now when I run, my neck is very relaxed, very like you want your head still, you know, you don't want to be exerting any other energy that could be taken away from your running form and from your sprint, or from any of the phases. So it's like super frustrating. But once you slow it down and you just kind of like focus on everything and then slowly pick it back up, because even now, like when I go, everything is percentage right now. Like I'm doing everything like 30, 40, 50, 60%. And I haven't really opened myself up to go 100% yet, because I haven't gotten that, you know, that muscle memory, or haven't gotten that technique right yet at that high percentage. I mean, I'm good like 20, 30, 40%. I can keep everything. But as soon as I kind of open up, like I'm just triggered, like go as fast as you can. And then I lose all my technique and all my mechanics that I've learned. So it's tough, but I mean, you could definitely do it. It's simple. It's easy to think about. It's hard to apply.
Chuck, you gotta take some tips from him, man.
Chuck, don't let him talk to you like that, man. Come on.
All right, but okay, so now getting into more of your soccer career, I think it was, I forget what year exactly, but after you scored 5 goals in the World Championships, I mean, you kind of went viral on Twitter for that. Who was one of the coolest people that kind of hit you up after that performance?
I mean, just having Alex. I mean, that was
Alex was yeah.
I mean, because I remember I had talked to Carlos Cordero, the ex-U.S. soccer president. Him and I actually keep in touch pretty frequently, but he's a good friend of mine. And I remember he tweeted out, and then he texted me, and my coach, because we're not allowed to have it was at the World Cup in Spain, and we're not allowed to have our phones at dinner. And so everyone turns their phone off, or they don't bring it to dinner or anything like that. So I had turned my phone off and had it in my pocket, and my coach came up to me and was like, "Hey, have you checked your phone?" And I was like, "Of course not. You know, I always follow the rules. My phone's off." And he's like, "You might want to turn it on." I as soon as I turned on my phone, like I couldn't open it. Like it was just notification. Like I couldn't open my phone. Like I couldn't do anything. And so I just sat it there, and it was just like just lighting up, and it was just a streak of notifications. And I literally broke my phone for like almost a full like day. But I mean, that was pretty cool to have her. I mean, just kind of. I mean, she's cool. Like the whole women's team, they're really supportive of our team. Really supportive of us. I've spoke to a lot of them, and they're really supportive, really cool. They're just good people, and so that was probably the pinnacle. And then I mean, everyone was hitting me up, just like, hey, hey, you think you and Alex are gonna become something? Like, yo, like you want to get married? Like, come on, be a little respectful. But some of the men, on the men's side, hit me up about it, and so that was pretty cool. But I mean, everything is just cool, you know. Just kind of be recognized, like have that, and just everyone kind of support you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just pretty cool.
Yeah. How did you get selected for the team?
So actually, it's weird because I mean, growing up, I always knew that there was something different about my left side, sort of necessarily wrong with my left side. You know, like I always knew that there was something, like my norm was different than others. Like I couldn't tie my shoes till I was a certain age. I failed the recorder in elementary school, like the plastic flute. I failed it. Like I couldn't move my left side as well as I could my right. But I never really recognized it or sort of pointed it out to anybody because I was just so embarrassed. And so I never really even understood what was going on with myself. I never really forced a doctor or anybody to really go out of their way to kind of diagnose me or give them any reason to look a certain way, because I was such a hyperactive kid, and I was so fast, and everything kind of came so easy just when I was so little, and that no one really saw anything to kind of be like, hey, we should probably get this tested. He's actually telling the truth. Everyone thought I was just making shit up, and it was really frustrating. And so sort of one day I was just kind of you know what, I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm going to put my head down, have a chip on my shoulder, because I always knew that there was something wrong, and it was going to come out medically sooner or later. And so I never understood what the Paralympics were. I never even knew that they were a thing until I was 20, 21 years old. And so I actually saw a ad on Instagram that U.S. Soccer had reposted about the para 7-a-side national team. And the 3 requirements on the post said stroke, TBI, or cerebral palsy. And I knew I had a stroke, and I had been diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So I was I sent it to my brother, and I was like, hey, you think I would be qualified? Do you think this is real? it didn't at the time, it didn't really hit me like there's this whole different world that you could have been competing in your whole entire life, you know, like, and it was sort of like frustrating. So I reached out to the coach, and he DM'd me and was like, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. And we hopped on a call a day later, and we were talking for almost an hour, and he just gave me a full rundown of the program. And less than 2 weeks later, I was on a flight to Chicago for my first camp with the national team. And then a couple weeks after that, I was on my first flight to Santiago, Chile, to represent my country for the first time. And I mean, it happened so fast, and I was so, you know, just ignorant to the entire Paralympics as a whole, the entire world that I knew nothing about, that I could have been competing in my entire life. So it's funny to kind of realize that I was exposed to it, or sort of introduced to it through Instagram or social media. I mean, it's such a misrepresented, you know, sport. It's crazy.
Yeah. In the same like topic, I know there's a movie or documentary on Netflix about Paralympics that just came out. That's on my watch list, but is there any initiatives or anything that you're doing to kind of raise awareness for the Paralympics?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of my biggest things is, especially when I'm here locally in Northern Virginia, like I try to, for the last like 3 years, I've gone to as many schools, I've spoken to as many fundraisers, as many schools, as many soccer teams, sports teams in general. You know, I've had so many people reach out to me, and I've done a numerous Zoom interviews and sort of just public speaking opportunities that I've had to volunteer and just kind of raise awareness on my own, because it's such a, you know, it's so hard to kind of get people to get behind it because they have such a misrepresentation of what it really is. I mean, every single time I go to publicly speak to, whether it's a group of kids, to adults, or to just athletes in general, the first thing I always say is, raise your hand if you heard of the Olympics. Everyone's raised their hand. How many people have heard of the Special Olympics? A majority raise their hand. How many people have heard of the Paralympics? Like 1 or 2 will raise their hand because they don't want to seem like the odd ones out. And I always ask somebody, I pick on somebody. I'm like, okay, explain to me what the Paralympics are. And not once have I had somebody give me a correct answer, because everyone just lumps the Paralympics with the Special Olympics. And like the amount of DMs I get on a weekly basis of like asking me if I'm like, I have like a mental disability, or like play in the Special Olympics, or something like along those lines, whether it's negative or them just genuinely asking the question, it's crazy. You know, like so many people are just like unaware of the Paralympics, unaware of the entire world of disabilities sport in general. But I'm actually in the process of creating my own foundation to hopefully bring more awareness and things like that, to kind of raise money for people with disabilities who are like me, who have more severe cerebral palsy disabilities, or with TBI or stroke. So that's in the process, but it takes forever to do that. But the documentary that just came out on Netflix, Rising Phoenix, it's incredible, man. Like I literally like was tearing up and like got the chills numerous times, just because, I mean, just watching it, like there was so much information that I didn't even know. And I've been playing for a para like national team for the last 3 years, and there's so much stuff and just background and information about the Paralympics, about their history, you know, that I didn't know. And it's just really informative. It's really inspiring. And I mean, they do a really, really good job of just kind of captivating what the Paralympics is as a whole and how far they've come. I mean, we're only on the rise. I mean, Paralympics is going to be crazy in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, before, like when I first met you on Xbox, like that one time, it was like, I think it was like me, you, Nick, and then Wes. And then you told me like you were on like the 77 like Paralympic team. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what is that?
Yeah, Fonzie was on that too.
Yeah, yeah. Fonzie invited me to that group, and then he got the boot because he was trash. But yeah, and I was like, and I started searching it up, and I was like, wow, like that's actually like pretty interesting. Like I never knew that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that because for the longest time, I mean, it took me so long, because I never really, I mean, growing up, I never, even because I knew that there was something wrong with me, I never even considered myself to be disabled. You know, like I never wanted to kind of admit to myself that I was, because I was just embarrassed, and I was hard-headed, stubborn, just sort of an ignorant kid at the time. And I didn't want to be lumped in with a group of being labeled as disabled, you know, like it was sort of like, hey, I always knew that there was something wrong on my left side, but I'm better than the kid next to me and I'm going to prove it. And literally nobody my entire life playing for representing the state of Virginia or going to a regional practice and being invited to do all that stuff with the national team at a youth level, to playing with the DC United Academy, and earning their respect there, going to college and playing at a Division I university and winning multiple championships there. Nobody knew ever. Not until the Big South, the conference, my conference with Radford came out with a video. They actually came to me and they were like, hey, like we want to do a video on you and how you joined the national team and we're going to release it. We'll let you know. And a couple of weeks before they released it, they gave me the date and I was like, hey, like postpone it a little bit because I need to tell my team, I need to tell my coaches because no one knew. And I remember sitting everybody down and sort of letting them know. And I was like, hey, like you guys are about to find out something about me that I've kept a secret my entire life. And they were like, well, what is it? And I told them and they didn't believe me. Like, and then the video came out and so many people flooding my social media, flooding my email and my phone just with messages of like, this can't be true. Like, there's no way that you don't look like it. Like, you don't play like it. Like, there's no way you make everything look so fluid. Like, you're so fast. Like, there's no way. Like, how is this a thing? You know, like no one ever knew. And so the amount of sort of positive feedback of people not knowing and kind of giving me credit for what I had been able to do at that time was pretty cool. But I mean, I had as much negativity feedback as I did positive. So it comes and goes. But I mean, it's just kind of cool to kind of see where I am at now and just kind of the sort of aura that it gives off that no one even can really notice, but it's a thing, you know, like don't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome too. Back what you were saying about starting a foundation, that you're in the process of it. Cause I feel like that's something, just raising more awareness for it is really awesome.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, it's crazy to me that I found out through social media and a lot of my teammates on the national team and a lot of other people within the Paralympics that do other sports, they find out by like seeing the Paralympics on TV in the smaller TV time that they get from the Olympics, or during the Olympics, they have like advertisements for the Paralympics for tickets and stuff like that. And they just saw it on TV or something like that. And it's just either word of mouth or social media or just something smaller like that. It's just, it doesn't have as much media's attention as it should yet. But I mean, it's on the rise though.
Yep. So what's your favorite place that you've been, that soccer has taken you?
That's hard. You know, I've loved every place I've been, because I mean, my favorite place that I've been would probably be Sevilla, Spain. We were there for the World Cup. That was dope. Like being able to stay in that hotel with all the other teams, and we got to play at Sevilla's facility, play on their field and everything, and their training facility, which was dope. Being able to just explore the city of Sevilla. But Buenos Aires, Argentina, I mean, that was probably the prettiest city I've been to yet. The architecture and everything there is just so old and just kind of unique and just beautiful in its own way. That was probably I figure, like, you can walk up to the president's house of Argentina sort of and like knock on the door. They don't have no security, nothing.
What?
They just have like people like standing on the outside. You could literally kind of like walk up through the gates and like walk up. You could probably like knock on the door if you wanted to, but I wasn't trying that. I wasn't trying that, but it's cool, man. It was, and everything's so pretty.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm not trying that. There's no way. There's no way." Do you have any goals for like for your Paralympic team, like in the coming years?
For soccer or for track?
Both.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're currently ranked with the para soccer team. We're currently ranked 4th in the world right now. So it's obviously, you know, like everyone's goal to be the #1 team in the world. But I mean, that's just going to take some time to see how far we've come in the last 5 to 10 years as just a U.S. team in general is crazy. And I mean, I've spoken numerous times with the head coach and past teammates and alum of the team who kind of reach out and say, like, I mean, it's crazy to see what you guys have done in such a short amount of time. So, I mean, you can't rush those type of things. So it's just every single month, every single camp that we get, every single competition, we're always learning, we're always getting better. And I mean, this past year in 2019 was our best year that we had in our entire program history. You know, like we had the highest finish in World Cup history that we'd ever had, and we earned our first medal in the Pan American Games, getting bronze. Should have been gold, but it's all good. We'll leave that out of it. But I mean, it's on the rise for sure. But that's definitely our goal, is to win the World Cup, to consistently win the Copa Americas, be the dominant side within the Eastern Hemisphere, and you know, just to become the number one country in the world and stay there.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, actually. What is like I think that, I mean, one thing I find really interesting is that like you can go from playing 7v7, and then like I know like you guys were in Argentina for the championship. Like, how was adapting from that and then going to Radford to play like 11v11?
It was crazy. I mean, because, you know, like I went from when I was still in college, I was still, it was my junior year and my senior year. I had played with Radford and with the national team. So I would start preseason with Radford and be playing 11v11, and then I would fly to another state or fly to another country and then be forced to play 7v7 with entirely different rules. You know, like it was crazy to kind of mentally adjust, you know. But I think the hardest transition was going from 7v7 when I was in Argentina for a month, or I think it was like 3.5, 4 weeks. And then I flew back to Radford, and I flew back on Wednesday night, and then woke up 6 a.m. that morning to get right back into training, and trained Thursday, Friday, and then was playing in the game on Saturday. So, I mean, it was right back into it. And then I just resumed the season. And I did that my senior year too, when we went to Ecuador. And then I flew back home and got back on a Thursday and then played in the game on Saturday. And it's just kind of, you learn to adapt to different situations, and being at that level of holding yourself accountable as a professional athlete. You know, you kind of switch something, you can just kind of switch it on and off. So at first it was kind of tough learning the different styles of play, and just kind of remembering and just kind of trying to stay as true to what your coach, the different managers want you to do in different situations, whether it's with the national team in sevens or at Radford with 11s. You know, it's just kind of being able to switch it on and off. And it was super tough, but I mean, it was definitely fun for sure, just to kind of be in that situation, because I mean, not a lot of people get to do that.
Yeah. All right. So it's changing topics a little bit. You kind of already said you're friends with Weston McKennie. What was it like seeing him just go out on loan to Juventus now and seeing him play with some of the best players in the world, like Ronaldo and Dybala and those guys?
Man, you can't be anything but happy. I mean, I'm happy with my guy, man. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, those are the guys. I mean, I was talking to him. I mean, those are the guys we like grow up and look up to, man. Like, those are the guys they're the 1% of the 1%. You know, and you grow up and you want to kind of idolize these guys. You see them every day, and just kind of, now that he's in that situation and within that locker room on that team, you know, in the same parking garage, parking next to them, like. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
It's normal, man. It's normal for him. You know, it's normal for guys like that are able to do to play soccer and do what they love at the highest level, man. It's crazy, but it's such a good feeling just to, like, being his friend and just knowing what he's put to get there. I mean, I'm just happy. It's just kind of like a sigh, you know, like and this is crazy because it's only the beginning. I tell him that all the time, man. It's just like, for anybody in our situation, like, this is just the beginning. Like, he's so young, you know, like, he's got so much work to do, so many things to still learn. Like, and he's 22, playing at Juventus, one of the top clubs in the world. Like, to see Fonzie do what he's doing, man, he just won the Champions League. Like, dude, it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
You know, like, it's just like, I'm just so happy. Like, it just makes me genuinely happy, you know, just to see people that I mean, that I either speak to or hang out with or have like a personal relationship with, or just kind of people that you just want to see win. I mean, I just want to see all my guys win, and just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I was, like, when Fonzie first came to Bayern, like, I mean, he was a little down. He was like the youngest on the team, wasn't playing at all, really. And I was like, dude, like, you just got to have some patience. Like, your time's going to come. And then next season, freaking like Sule's out, and then he just started, and he just starts every game. I'm like, wow, like, and then I'm like in the beginning of the season, I was like, Yeah, dude. Like you gotta keep doing what you're doing. Like I could see you easily winning like the treble. He was like, yeah, bro. Like I don't know. Like that's massive. And I was like, man, like it's gonna happen. And then freaking what last week or 2 weeks ago, like he's I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
So you're saying that you're responsible for Fonzie and Bayern's success because you were
Oh, easily. I predicted it. I easily same with Chris Richards, dude. I was literally talking to Chris Richards like I think a week or two before he got his first team debut, and I was like, because he kept scoring goals, and I was like, all right, man, like you keep doing that. I don't know if I'm not the coach or anything, but I would definitely get you some first team minutes, and then it happened. If you guys need like, I'm a psychic, okay? Like I know things are gonna happen before it even happens. If you guys need some,
cool. I need you on my corner too. Like, I need you to tell me.
I got you. I'm gonna send you a message right now.
Predict it right now. In the next year, when I go to Tokyo, what's gonna happen? Predict it right now,
dude. It's easy. It's gold. You see, it's gold. That's all I see. All I see is gold. I see like gold. That's all I'm seeing.
I love that.
I see you're gonna be biting on it at the edge. You know what I mean? You're gonna be biting on it. Hopefully, you don't break any of your tooth. Your teeth.
Gold, man. If I do, that's a good problem to have.
Dude, your dentist will not be happy.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right, I peeped you. What do you call it? You tweeted at Chad Ochocinco like a month ago about like trying to play him with FIFA.
Well, he's been ducking me for a while.
Dude, I play him all the time. Like he's like, I would say I've been playing him for like 3 years now. But before that, he would always duck me. And I was like, bro, like I'm like not to sound like cocky, but I'm nice. Like I'm like that.
Hey, dude, be cocky, bro.
I'm like that. You feel me? Like I'm like that. And I was like, because he was posting like all these like pictures of like playing these scrubs, and I'm just like, bro, how are you guys losing to Napoli? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, I support Tottenham, and I use Tottenham, but I'm like, dude, how are you guys? People are using like Juve and like PSG and Barcelona, and they're losing to like Napoli. I was like, all right, bro, like I gotta play you.
He's like that though. He's good though.
Nah. Let me tell you something. 2 years ago, he's not the same Chad I used to play even last year. Now?
Yeah, it's because he's been playing with pros, bro.
Bro, he is nice.
I'll
still give him the work, though. I'll still give him the work. But he actually gives me like he would beat me and I'll beat him, but it would be like going back and forth. But before it was just like a blowout all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played FIFA in so long. I haven't played it in over a year, man. Like, but I kind of retired from that just because the game itself had like strained away so much from being a video game and just became so they try to make it too realistic. I think it's just kind of not fun, you know, like it's so frustrating in the mechanics of the game. Cause I mean, I remember when I was in college, like I would finish my schoolwork. I would study cause I was student first. Right. And, you know, and then I'd be playing FIFA for hours, man. And I would just get the mechanics down, get the animations down. And it was just like, you couldn't, like, I knew what people were going to do before they did it because I knew the animations that were going to come. And you just kind of figure it all out. And I was so into it, bro. Like weekend league every weekend, everyone was out doing stuff.
Yeah.
I would get up, go to training, come back on a Saturday and spend all day Saturday playing weekend league, you know, like it was so fun. But now, I mean, I haven't played that game in forever, but if anyone wants to work, I'll come out of retirement and you know, and let them know that I'm still here.
Boy, I'll cook you easily.
Bro, I remember back when like FIFA, when they had like international rankings they didn't have Ultimate Team. Like it was just the seasons and you would just play online and then you had like an international leaderboard. I remember being so proud I was on the international leaderboard, man. I was like in middle school, like I'm the best. I would go to school and be so hype about it. And then Ultimate Team came out and it just kind of changed the way you play that game, man.
I think the best ranking I ever had was FIFA 12. I was like 1,012. Like I think it was in the country though. So like, but I wasn't. I mean, it was still pretty big for me. But I was like, yeah, like. But that's when I was like a gamer. Like I didn't have anything else to do. Like I would literally just come from school and just get on, just play until like midnight or like 1 o'clock.
To do it. I mean, always going.
You still are.
I didn't have time to do anything. I'd get home from school and then go straight to the metro and then ride the metro an hour down to DC, and then train for an hour and a half, get back on the metro, hour back and get back. And then I'd be playing FIFA for like an hour, 2 hours, and I'd go to bed and do it all again. But I mean, I miss those days, man. Those were simpler times.
So Nick, you said kind of before when we were talking that you want to get more into streaming now. And was reading an article about how you wanted to get some charity focused live streams together. Have you made any progress on that? And
Well, yeah, I mean, I was talking to one of my sponsors. They actually have a foundation, and I was speaking to them about it. And I kind of just raised the question. I reached out and I was like, hey, like if I were to stream, would you guys be able to sponsor it? And like sort of any donation, anything that I'll get, it would go straight to y'all's charity. And they were completely with it. So I haven't been able to figure out like exact times just because of my training and everything for Tokyo. But hopefully after my move, after I get settled down there and get my whole gaming setup done, and I'm going to reach out to them and get all my Twitch stuff sorted. And then hopefully I'll be able to kind of do it consistently. And then I'll be able to put on like a streaming thing. And that's the biggest thing I want to do, you know, like if I'm able to like play with my friends, like play with y'all, play with Chris, West, and all of them, and just kind of be able to raise awareness to something and have all the money go towards good. Like, I mean, I'll be all right, you know? And that's
especially now when we need to be socially distanced, like it's perfect way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, if I can do something good and also have fun while I'm doing it, I mean, it's a win-win, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, that's how I know some of the Canadian guys are doing that, like early on quarantine, like for coronavirus. Like awareness and charity and all that. It was just
I mean, it's just simple. Like you playing Warzone for 4 hours anyway. You might as well just stream it and be able to put all the proceeds to a good cause that's going on to people that really need it.
Yeah. Nah, but when you do get that going though, definitely, you know.
Absolutely, bro. You'll be in that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll put that on the Warzone thing. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I can't say I'm good, but I definitely would like to be a part of it.
Chuck will be there for the banter.
Yeah, I'll carry everybody, bro. I'll put you in my backpack. Don't worry.
Definitely.
I got you. I'm like that on Warzone.
No, I'm definitely gonna get some Warzone in a bit. Actually, I need to get a win today.
Yeah. All right, Nick. This has been great. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk to us and talk about your career so far and more about the Paralympics. I think that was very, very interesting, and feel like a lot of people will find it interesting as well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was huge, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Wish you best of luck.
Go watch Rising Phoenix out now on Netflix.
Definitely.
Change your life.
I should watch it tonight.
Yeah, you should, bro. It's dope.
Chuck, you on Netflix and chill over it?
Yeah, I'll FaceTime you. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Yo, thanks a lot, buddy. Good luck in Tokyo. We'll probably get you back after you get that gold medal. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. We'll do a recap.
I bet.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, boss.